There is not a left ecosystem that matches the right ecosystem.
But Ailes didn't do that either. It was the principle, the ideological principles, not the party. He and Murdoch the same way. They're promoting an ideological worldview.
I don't know about you guys, but I miss Circleback Psaki. Yes, Jen Psaki, who used to be the White House press secretary for Joe Biden before she got replaced by Karine Jean-Claude Van Damme. She is talking to Jon Stewart about the Democratic Party, and he's just completely exposing them for what they are, which is a bunch of lunatics, essentially. He said the Democratic Party is not doing a really good job, explains why, and she's trying to act as if she's an objective being, which we all know she isn't. But it's super entertaining. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to RTM News, because it ensures YouTube that you're enjoying these videos, and then in turn they will continually show up in your feed and they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
I've been shocked by how undemocratic the Democratic Party can be.
Tell me more, what do you mean by, I don't disagree with you necessarily, but what do you mean by that?
By putting their foot on the scales to get, make sure that Hillary Clinton comes out of the thing, or make sure that, that they're listening to that anger about the way that even the ACA, quite frankly, struck me as a very conservative.
You mean because it didn't have a public option in it?
Correct. That it didn't address the very thing that was causing the foundational upset. If I were to break this down narratively, what I think the Democrats have forgotten is government may not be perfect, but it's the only thing large enough to offset multinational corporate exploitation and corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't act like that's urgent and that affects people's lives, then so if the big policies that we make are billions more dollars to insurance companies that we think are fucking people over left and right for their healthcare, so isn't that part of why people lost faith?
Yeah. So yes, I think we're saying, well, I'm trying to say something similar, which is this.
Boom.
Which is Democrats just lost everything. They control nothing. They control, they don't control the House. They don't control the Senate. They don't control the White House, and they don't control the Supreme Court. So now is the time to break some shit, right? And break some China.
They do control the email lists that continue to ask for money.
Well, that's true.
They still have that.
It's not completely true. They still control the mainstream media. Fortunately for us, no one watches that anymore. Or at least no one trusts it. If they do watch it, we use it for clips to completely obliterate their nonsense. But you've lost trust. You don't have power in anything, and that's because of your own doing in prioritizing winning or prioritizing wokeism or whatever it is that you did prioritize that made us suffer for the last 4 years. And it's so funny how she's trying to say, I think we're kind of saying the same. Let me just tweak it a little bit, because I don't want to acknowledge that you're right. And no, he's completely right. And the Democratic Party is crumbling, and they're not going to win. I think Bill Maher said this the other day. He's like, we're not going to have another Democratic president if they keep going in the direction that they have been going. And it doesn't seem like they really want to shift or change in any way. So we might have more Republican presidents going forward, which I'm not complaining about. We just got to make sure they don't start leaning left crazy. But we're going to go to the next clip. There's a few more of these got to show you guys. It's very entertaining. Circleback Psaki is not having fun right now.
And 4 hours of Joe Scarborough shouldn't be allowed in this country. and then Rachel Maddow, it's schizophrenic at times. I do think there should be some semblance of an idea that, look, they're kicking progressive ass right now. And if progressives don't organize their media, their think tanks and all that, it's going to continue to happen. It's chaos.
Well, I will say, broadly speaking, I'm not going to say Democrats. I'm going to say people on the left do not do that the right does very well is support within the system each other. I'm serious. And what I mean by this is this, right?
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn appears on Joe Rogan's show, right? he promotes what Joe Rogan's doing. But they all promote all of the things each other are doing and what the elected officials, I guess, are doing too. And the left is a little bit more kind of discombobulated in terms.
Is that a joke? Is that a joke? The mainstream media would not give any sort of positive coverage on conservatism, on people on the right, their policies or ideas. It was vilified, seen to be terrible, mischaracterized, all that stuff. And then their alternative media through social media, with Elon Musk buying Twitter and now X, and like all these other things that happened with Theo Von and Joe Rogan, like being exposed to the truth that the leftism and this wokeism is insane. Andrew Scholes and all these people, Bryce Hall, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, this is wild. And because of the massive platforms, culture started to shift. And obviously the conservatives like myself that have been influencers for the last 4 years, I have like obviously played a part in that as well. And so people started calling out your BS, and then, you know, culture started shifting. But that's absolutely insane to say that you did not have, yes, you're discombobulated now because you don't know what to do. Because no one believes your BS anymore, because you can't just be the mainstream media. You can't just put these subliminal messages in your television and in your movies. You can't keep having the Avengers, all these celebrities coming together and making these videos talking about how bad Trump is and how every white person is racist. And yeah, okay, you have a whole cohesive, like, conglomerate. I don't even want to talk about Hollywood. You own Hollywood. You own mainstream media. You have all these platforms in which you are united in pushing your propaganda and your nonsense. You do have that. It's just people don't trust that anymore. You're like, why am I going to politicians, or why am I going to celebrities for my political ideals or political opinions or whatever? And then they go to Joe Rogan, who has 4-hour conversations with people that explicitly go through all these things by detail, expressing why this is right or wrong or yada, yada, yada. And it's objective because it's unedited, it's unclipped. It's just, this is what it is. This is what I believe. And that's why people watch watch the interview with Trump, the 3-hour interview with Vance, and just be like, oh shoot, like they're not as bad as, you know, they have been edited and clipped to be. That's such a BS. You do have it. It's mistrusted by everyone. No one believes what you're saying. It's not that you don't have it. You do. You have a well-oiled machine of straight up ridiculousness through Hollywood, through mainstream media. It's just they're not taking the bait anymore. That's the only difference. You have it. People just don't watch. People just don't care. That was, I can't believe she actually just said that. That's insane.
In terms of supporting the different entities on the left, there is not a left ecosystem that matches the right ecosystem.
But Ailes didn't do that either. It was the principle, the ideological principles, not the party. He and Murdoch the same way. They're promoting an ideological worldview, right? That they believe is correct. And Theo Von and Joe Rogan, I think, are different animals than any of this. Like, I wouldn't say I don't think they're part of any machine. Don't
you think they're but they are still in the right wing ecosystem? Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would think they're in. No, I would consider them in a more probably libertarian comedic complex, you know, more along the lines of, and if you watch or listen to their shows, a lot of times it's just pure like goofing off.
Has nothing to do with politics, and oftentimes, but
almost entirely.
But they are supportive of the Trump enterprise, is what I mean. So maybe I'm loosely putting them in that category.
I think they are supportive, but not. They are not relentless in the Trump enterprise. Like, they are not Charlie Kirk. They are not Ben Shapiro. Like, they are very different animals. They are not invested in the shit that you get picked up and like go to the headlines of media. But on balance, that's not what their shows are about.
And that's another thing. Outside of the fact that she was completely wrong about them not having an opposing ecosystem to the right, Theo Von and Joe Rogan aren't even on the right. They're both, like you said, probably libertarian at most, and they don't talk about politics exclusively on their shows. They talk about so many other things. They bring on so many other guests. It's just like the world is so crazy, and your MSNBC, CNN, all these people, we're not trusted. And so they like, all right, fine. Let me bring on Trump. Let me hear what he has to say. Let me bring on all these people. Let me hear what they have to say. And this is wild. And what we're dealing with sucks right now. And everyone feels the weight of what this administration is doing to us. Biden's administration. And so they're not even, and like they're not even a part of our ecosystem, really. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they went to the inauguration. Yeah, they've come to a few events maybe, but they're not like a hardcore right wingers who are like MAGA this, MAGA that. They're just kind of like, yeah, Trump's cool. Think he's gonna do a good job. I'll vote for him. Heck yeah, go America. You know, like. Meanwhile, that is what you do on a daily basis. That is what CNN, MSNBC, all of them, all these woke ABC platforms. That's what you do on a continually daily basis. It's just spout ridiculous propaganda. Your alternative ecosystem is solely that. Meanwhile, yeah, Theovana Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan will bring Trump on or have some random political moment every now and then. It's not the same. It's absolutely ridiculous to try to compare that. And then act like they don't have an ecosystem. That's wild. But I have one more clip I want to show you guys, so let's tune in.
You're at MSNBC. Do they come to you every day and go, here's what we think is important to preserve and fight for whatever?
No, everybody gets a zillion press releases and pitch calls, but no.
No. I'm talking about the head of it.
Oh, no. You determine, we determine, each of us for our shows, here's what I'm going to cover today, and here's what I'm going to talk about, and here's what I think is important, which there's an independence-ish of that. And there also is, you're not waiting to be told what to say about anything. You're going to say what you think. So people can trust that, and that is a good thing.
See, I disagree with that. I think it's not that you're able to be independent. It's that you're then a prisoner purely to the minute by minutes. Purely
you mean in terms of ratings?
The ratings, incentives, and all those other things. If you don't have the ideological component, right, then you don't have a governing authority of editorial authority, right? The greatest trick Roger Ailes ever played was he delegitimized editorial authority while exercising absolute steel trapdoor editorial authority.
The greatest thing he did, because it led them to be an arm piece, a mouthpiece of the right wing. It
led them to be exactly what he wanted it to be, which is an effective expression of his worldview. And
MSNBC, I am unburdened by not having, I can share whatever I think. I have obviously worked in Democratic politics for 20 years. I don't hide anything about that. It is a progressive leaning network, but nobody is, to the frustration at times of many elected Democrats, it is not a mouthpiece of the Democratic Party.
I don't think anyone believes that. So we're all objective here. We all say what we want to say. And there's no one is controlling. Have you guys seen that video? There's like a video on social media. You could probably look it up on Twitter, YouTube, where all of these networks are saying literally the exact same thing, like verbatim, word for word, bar for bar. Nobody believes it. That's probably what led to one of the many reasons for why people don't trust the media. It's like, whoa, they're all saying the same thing. And it's really weird. No, that cannot be true. Because you guys are a hive mind. You all say the same thing. You believe the same way on everything. That's not even human. We're all complex individuals. There's so many people within this right-wing space or conservative space that I disagree with on a lot of things. Still cool, because we don't have to hate people we have opposing ideologies with. But yeah, that's horseradish. That is baloney. I don't believe that for a second. And that is, honestly, I can't even say money's a reason for why they do what they do, because at this point they're losing money. Like, these ratings have gone down and crazy, and they're still being woke. So I don't know. But Jen Psaki, and Jon Stewart was so kindly just debunking her. Well, no, this is what I would say. Well, yeah, she's like, they're still doing it after all this time. She's still trying to just get playing the game. And I'm over it. I'm over the game. Let's just make lives better for all Americans, okay? Let's unite. We don't have to agree, but we can unite. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you're thinking, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.